All right, folks. Welcome back to Stream Catchers. Back at you with another episode of What If Review. I am one of your hosts, AB, along with.
I'm Jack. What's going on?
Hey, buddy, how you doing?
I'm doing real well. How are you?
Feeling good, feeling great. We, like I said, another episode of What If. This time it is What If the world lost its mightiest heroes.
Yeah.
Different sort of structure this week, I think, than what we've seen the
hmm
last couple weeks. What'd you think of the episode?
I liked it. It wasn't amazing. It's not I don't think it's the same caliber we've seen. I don't think it's as good as episodes 1 and 2. I think that the premise is kind of cool, but I don't know. I feel like this one's lacking, and I'm really not sure where. So maybe after we dive in, we'll kind of discover what it is that I have a problem with this episode. But I didn't think it was. I didn't think it was great. I thought it was good. What about you?
Yeah, it's kind of the consensus I've seen online a bit. A lot of people are kind of mixed on it.
hmm
I really love shows and movies that are murder mysteries, and so this is kind of right up my alley. It's a situation where somebody's getting killed. We got to find out who did that. That's all. That's all I love. So
Yeah.
I did like that, and I did like the story, and it kept me guessing, and I really enjoyed watching it unfold. I don't disagree that it's not as good as the Captain Carter episode or the Black Panther Star Lord episode. It's definitely I think it's probably the weakest of the three so far, but I did still really
Yeah.
enjoy it. Yeah, it was a good time. It was a lot of fun, and I liked a lot of the different threads that they took, and yeah, it was enjoyable.
Yeah, going into it, I didn't know what this episode was going to be about at all. In fact, like I had seen, I think a day or two ago, I had seen like a screenshot from the episode where Spider-Man's wearing the Doctor Strange cape. So that's kind of what I was expecting going into this one, and neither character is in this episode
Yeah,
at all. It's a completely different one. I like what you said about the murder mystery because that's really what it was, and I think that they chose really good characters to chug the story along. I really liked the exploring the dynamic. I mean, not really exploring the dynamics because these characters were around in Phase 1, but just the Black Widow, Nick Fury, Agent Coulson trio moving the story along. I thought that was great. I love Agent Coulson, so any chance to get him back in the action is great.
yeah, Coulson's a good character. It was cool to see him back. I think when we were about to record last week's episode, you thought maybe Loki was going to be involved. And
hmm
so I knew that, and then of course the day before the episode aired, they showed Nick Fury and Black Widow. So I'm kind of with you. I didn't really know what to expect on this. So it
hmm
was the one that was I had the most questions going into it. The other ones were kind of self-explanatory. This one was definitely like, what are we gonna get here?
hmm
And I enjoyed it. So let's do some quick hits. I'll just run down a quick brief synopsis, and then we can riff on our thoughts throughout the episode more in depth. Again, folks, we always assume you've seen these episodes, so if you haven't and don't want to get spoiled, make sure you cut us off and come back after you had a chance to check it out. Otherwise, this episode pretty much picks up a little bit before well, actually, no, it picks up right in the middle of Iron Man 2, where Nick Fury is about to put the Avengers together. He goes up to get Iron Man while he's hanging out at Randy's Donuts out in LA, and Black Widow goes to inject him with that I don't know, serum or medication that's supposed to slow down the virus or disease, whatever it is that's killing him. As she does that, it kills Tony. She gets framed for his murder. And then really one by one, every other member of the Avengers either gets murdered or framed for murder and then murdered. Hawkeye is framed for Thor's death. Hawkeye then gets murdered while he's being kept by Shield. Bruce Banner as the Hulk, he blows up, which was a really really imaginative way to kill the Hulk.
Yeah.
Black Widow is sort of on the run because she was framed for the murder of Iron Man. So while she's on the run, Nick Fury's got her trying to figure out what's going on in the background. Right as she does, she gets murdered. So Nick Fury's trying to figure out what's going on. He's about to call Captain Marvel. They even show the beeper, which is a fun little spot. When Asgard pops in, Loki and all of the Lady Sif and the Warriors 3 and all these Asgardian soldiers, they come in and they're about to lay waste to the earth. Nick Fury sort of strikes up a deal. He's trying to figure out what happens. Ultimately, he does. He and Loki work out an agreement to go and figure out how to stop the mystery killer. Of course, it's Hank Pym as Yellow Jacket, who is exacting revenge on S.H.I.E.L.D. because Hope in this scenario dies as an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is the Nexus event, for lack of a better word, that sort of brought us off track. They arrest him. Everything goes well. Loki eventually does end up trying to take over Earth again, and the episode ends with Nick Fury uncovering Captain America from the ice with Captain Marvel in tow. So trying to build a new Avengers.
Good recap.
Thank you.
I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Far
Nicely
too
done. Nicely done.
So,
Yeah, this was a lot happened, a lot to digest in one episode. I kind of like the idea. I like that the what if scenarios aren't exactly spoiled in the title. This is the second time that the exact Nexus event, as you called it, is it's not exactly in the title, right? Because in the previous episode, the Nexus event was Yondu outsourcing or delegating the responsibility of getting Peter Quill, and that goes south. And then in this one, they really couldn't say, in the title what the Nexus event was, because it was about Hope. It's all about Hope. It was about Hope Van Dyne, and they didn't want to use her in the title because that would have spoiled the ending of the mystery, really.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually, because and it's funny too, because the Yondu one was really early in that episode. I mean, it was within the first 5 or 6 minutes, I believe. And then this one you don't find out until not the absolute end, but
it's like 5 minutes left. Yeah,
right before the climax at least. And so that's a good point. I didn't think about that. I do like the idea that we kind of have to figure it out as we go, as opposed to just here it is and then boom, we're off to the races. I think making it part of the fun reveal, it adds a lot of depth to the episode itself, and that's a good point. I don't know if we should call them Nexus events, because that's another thing I wanted to talk about. I don't know what you would call it. I guess just the weird event that
the butterfly effect is the one change that alters the reality of the universe.
I guess they are Nexus events, but my gripe is, where's the TVA if we have all these Nexus events that are happening?
Yeah. So are we supposed to think that this is like a sacred timeline for their universe? I don't really know the rules of the multiverse. All this is so confusing to consider.
That's what I'm saying. And that's what I brought up right maybe before this show came out, where it's like, I really hope Marvel is careful with how they handle the multiverse, because in Loki, we have established that Nexus events set off an event. The TVA has to knock that off. And they've also established that this is canon. This isn't some side thing. Like, this is happening in the greater multiverse. So maybe this is all happening post killing He Who Remains. And so the TVA is but they didn't fall. They're still a thing, right? So
yeah,
they have bigger fish to fry. I don't know.
Yeah, like I like Loki a lot, but like the rules that it set up are confusing when you involve every other story from the MCU. You know what I mean? When you look at just Loki through the lens of Loki, it all makes sense. It's all kind of concise and everything. But then when you think about these other, portions of the MCU, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, especially when you also consider the multiverse, which is coming, and what if is sort of part of that. Just because it begs the question of what if this is different? Well, this is how it is here, this is how it is there, and they're separate. That's multiverse, right? That's a multiverse idea.
Yeah.
And then also there's several, I don't know if I should say several, a couple time travel stories within the MCU, and time travel is also kind of breaking time in itself. It's just a lot to consider with the rules that Loki set up.
And I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility we see time travel come up again, at least in smaller. Maybe it's not a full time heist. The whole movie centered around it, or maybe it's not like low key. Again, the whole show is centered around it. But I do think it's possible that we see time travel in some capacity again. I mean, Ant-Man, Quantumania, they're going to be in the quantum realm, so that begs the thought that maybe we're going to see some time travel in there. Who knows? Maybe there's a possibility that we see time travel with Fantastic Four. Maybe that's how they enter the fold, right?
That would be cool.
It's like how you're right. Yeah, there's a lot of I guess potential plot holes that could really spring up if they're not careful because of the logic that they
Hmm.
established in Loki. But we'll see. I don't know. It's a small gripe, but it's like this was the next show after Loki, right?
Yeah.
Like we have just established what the rules are, and now we're just like, whatever. This is fun.
Hmm. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
speaking of fun, what was your favorite death?
Probably Hulk. Watching the Hulk explode. I thought that, I mean, uh, it makes you think, right? Because Hulk is supposed to be, invincible and unkillable and everything, and Hank Pym does it easily. You know, I, and another thing was how well What If did it. Like, I mean, conceptually, when you think about enlarging someone's heart to a point where they explode, and something so massive as the Hulk being that thing that explodes, you think that's going to be a horrific bloodbath. And they really cleaned it up pretty nicely and made it a little PG.
I didn't think
Because that's
about
a
that, but
that's a sick idea.
you're right. Yeah, I mean they could have very easily had Black Widow just drenched in
Hmm.
Hulk's blood. I would say that was probably my favorite death as well, and it was one of those where I thought he might be the one that doesn't die just because he really can't,
Yeah.
and then of course he does, and it's like, well, how did he blow up? I thought that maybe the whatever it was got in him, and it was just like a time bomb, but the bomb blows up inside of him, and then of
Yeah.
course when they show how he's actually how Hank is actually killing everybody, he throws one of those devices that enlarges whatever, and that's how he enlarges his heart. And yeah, I thought it was a really creative way to kill off the Hulk.
Yeah. Yeah. When they were doing all these deaths too, actually, while we're talking about Hulks, Mark Ruffalo got to voice Phase One Hulk
Yeah,
for,
he
I
did.
guess, kind of the first time. I mean, not really for the first time because Avengers is Phase One, but this was Edward Norton Hulk timeline, and so we've got a nicely animated version of Mark Ruffalo Hulk.
That's true. I didn't think about that. That's a really good point because yeah, Edward Norton was Bruce Banner slash the Hulk, and that
Hmm.
didn't last long. Unfortunately, it's a weird. I love Edward Norton, but I also love Mark Ruffalo as Banner, so it's kind of a bittersweet thing, I suppose. But
Yeah.
yeah, good point. They really did animate him really well, and yeah, it
Hmm.
was like a scene. I didn't even catch it. It was just by now, Mark Ruffalo is Bruce Banner. Like that's
Oh, for
many
sure. Yeah, yeah.
would have
Well, he's
considered it, right?
been Bruce Banner for almost a decade, almost 10 years.
Yeah, 9 years now. Yeah, so good
Yeah.
catch there.
So anyway, what I was going to say is when they were doing all these deaths, I really thought that the episode was leading up to Captain America saving the day.
I
And
thought we were going to see him sooner than we didn't even really see him, but I thought we would definitely see him pop up at some point.
yeah, so I wrote in my notes, I kept track of the timeline a little bit just because they made it really easy for us
Hmm.
in this episode with Monday. Like they even show on screen, this is Monday, this is Tuesday,
Yeah,
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And I think there's even, isn't there a live action short on a DVD extra somewhere called either Fury's Big Week or Coulson's Big Week or something like that? Because I mean, for a long time, we've known that the events of Iron Man 2, Hulk, and Thor took place within a week. But this is
yes,
the first time that we've really followed Shield close enough so that we see their interaction with all of these characters in the timeline order. So I wrote down Monday being Iron Man 2, Tuesday Thor, which I have a little bit of a gripe about, Wednesday Hulk, Thursday blank, and then Friday Captain America on Ice.
okay,
So, in timeline order, as I would understand it, I thought that Hulk took place in between Iron Man's 1 and 2, and then Thor was after everything. I thought Thor was, or not, because
see,
I watched Thor, then Captain America, then Avengers. I
because
know you
and we
prefer to do it in in chronological order, and I prefer to do it in release order.
And that's the difference there is, yeah, because theatrically, yes, Iron Man, then a Hulk, and Iron Man 2, and Thor and Cap. That's the order that they came out. But in real time, real MCU time,
Right.
Iron Man 2 is supposed to take place like directly after Iron Man 1.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, and if I was going to watch Hulk, which I don't, but that's the order I would watch it in. I would do Iron Man 2, Hulk, Thor, and then of course I do Captain America first because the whole movie takes place in
In the 40s,
yeah. Whatever it is, and except for that last scene, which doesn't really need to be at the end, doesn't change anything. So, but yeah, that is the quote unquote MCU real time that they say you should watch it in. But I mean, I don't think it matters too much if you're just watching them.
No, not really. I guess the main thing that surprised me about their timeline was that Captain America being found frozen was after they tried to initiate most of the Avengers already, because the title of the first Captain America movie is Captain America: The First Avenger.
Yeah, but that's because he technically is the first Avenger because he's the first to get the super soldier serum. And he sets off this whole chain event of, even as we'd find out in Falcon Winter Soldier, how they had super soldier testing on all those African American soldiers, Isaiah Bradley, for example. And then, of course, Iron Man is the next guy, and then the Hulk starts because he was trying to recreate the super soldier serum, right? So it's like he technically is the first Avenger. He just might not have been the first recruit, technically.
Yeah. See, I would argue it was Natasha.
Natasha?
Yeah.
Why would you say Natasha?
Just because she wasn't recruited on screen and she was brought in to help recruit Iron Man. You know what I mean?
Sure. I mean, I guess if you're going to go by that logic, the first Avenger would probably be Captain Marvel because the whole Avenger initiative was named after her.
I guess that's true. I suppose that's true.
So she knew Fury before any of them. So I think that they consider I don't think the title of Captain America, the First Avenger, is meant to be taken that literally. I think it's supposed to just be, he's the first real superhero that we've ever had. And, here you go.
I definitely, I hear what I agree. We're definitely getting way too into it and beating a dead horse at this point.
Probably.
So let me just express my little bit of a gripe about the way that they set up Thor. They show that it's Tuesday, and then they show the post-credit scene of, I want to say it's Iron Man 2, but I'm not 100% sure. Okay, where they show the hammer in the crater in the desert, and Coulson rolls up, calls Nick Fury, which I love that they brought in scene after scene of the movies into this episode. I mean, I know that's kind of the point that's what they're doing with the series. But this episode specifically has done a really good job of showing the scenes either in a different light or from a different perspective, or even like an advanced version or like an expanded version. Super cool. But anyway, they show Thor's hammer in the desert at the beginning of Tuesday, and Tuesday night, S.H.I.E.L.D. has this gigantic facility set up in less than 24 hours. I don't know. Just seems unrealistic. Even for S.H.I.E.L.D.
though. It's S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, but they've got supercomputers set up. They've got all these weird tube hallways. They've got like a prison cell. Like, I don't know. Just a little much.
I'm trying to remember too, because it's been at least a few months since I've seen Thor. At what point in that movie was that set up?
That's a good question.
Because I mean, the movie shows Mjolnir
probably halfway.
The movie shows Mjolnir going to Earth, and then there's that scene where everybody's trying to pull it,
right?
And then that's when Coulson and S.H.I.E.L.D. come up, and it's like the next scene where that stuff is set up, and I mean that's all supposed to happen pretty quickly. So I don't think you're wrong. I mean, I think it definitely is too soon, and maybe they just did that conveniently, and it's kind of just like whatever,
Yeah.
we're talking about something where with gods and people wearing iron
I know,
suits
I
and
know, I know.
super soldiers.
This is the problem we've got.
Snapping your. I think you just. I think you. I appreciate trying to find topics to talk about, but it's like.
I guess I love really, really good continuity, and sometimes I like to point out when they maybe break it a little bit. But I will say the next time I watch Thor, I'm going to be paying attention a little bit more to when scenes are taking place, when there's, a day, a definite, like, this was the end of this day, it's the beginning of a new day, just for, my own kicks.
In your defense, they definitely could have did that like on Wednesday, at least like another day,
Yeah.
It's Shield though, right? Like they have I just assume they have the ability to do whatever they want, and I just accept it. That's just
their Shield. They are Shield.
They're Shield.
Yeah.
I'm with you though. To rewind it back to Cap, I kept waiting and waiting for him to pop up. I don't mind that he didn't, and there was even a point where I thought he's going to call Captain Marvel, because obviously back then he couldn't. We hadn't done all of what we've done, but now we know he's got the beeper and all that. So I was like, maybe he's going to call her. And so when he's in the SUV and he's like, I'm about to do it, and he's got it, and I'm like, here she comes, it's about to go down, and then he throws it back in, and I was a little disappointed, but it was cool to see her at least at the end, and at least like, all right, Captain, because she's supposed to be in another episode of these, I think.
Captain Marvel is?
Yeah, I think so.
Like as like
an
main
episode. Yeah.
Ooh, I wonder what that one's going to be about.
I don't know for sure. This might have been the thing, but I know she's supposed to be in the show at least. So if this was her one episode, then whatever. But
yeah, well, even though she wasn't the one to save the day, the unlikely alliance between Fury and Loki was pretty inventive. I really liked that. What did you think of that?
Was that not fun? That was really, that was really creative, because when Fury's talking to Pym and he's like, he does the backflip kick and he lands, and I'm like, I know we don't have Sam Jackson for real out there, but come on, and then he starts doing all these things, and I'm like, how is he's just swatting him down. I don't get this. And then of course you see more and more magic, and then when he multiplies, I'm like, oh, that's right, he's Loki. And then,
I think for me, I kind of like it made me think like, this is not Nick Fury when he started playing dumb about Hope with Hank. Like, Nick Fury isn't one to play dumb. Like, everybody knows that Nick Fury knows everything.
Right.
That just, he wouldn't act like that. And I was like, he probably made a deal with Loki.
There was another one that I didn't really catch it, where Pym's like, you didn't care about her. And he goes, I didn't care about any of them. I was like, damn, Nick. And then after it revealed, I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Deranged Hank Pym looked very cool.
I agree. Yeah, like, even his eyebrows were a little undone, and he looked like he was just like mad at the world. Yeah, it was
crazy mad scientist eyes, just hair going everywhere. Yeah, it was cool to see him as a villain.
At what point did you know it was him?
So I had paused and rewound the part where Natasha was on the computer, and it was showing like a bunch of character portraits, and one of them was Janet Van Dyne. And as soon as she said Hope, it's all about Hope, before I thought of the Captain Marvel line, with her being about Hope, I was thinking like, oh, Hope Van Dyne. And I actually thought it was going to be Hope Van Dyne, like, getting revenge or something. Like, I didn't have it figured out that it was Hank specifically. But I thought Hope was going to be a character in this episode.
Yeah, I could tell when Natasha was actually fighting him that I was like, Ant-Man? Huh, okay.
Yeah.
But I was like, Scott Lang isn't in yet. Who could this really be? And then we knew that Janet was in the quantum realm. So I was like, oh, maybe it is Hank or Hope. But I didn't put the Hope connection together. No, as soon as she said Hope, I was like, okay, Hope Van Dyne, it's got to be her. But then they said something about somebody had died a few years prior. So I was like, I don't know. Yeah, it was fun though. It was a fun reveal, and I was not expecting that at all.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess now that we've talked about that, I could say like the what if of this episode, I guess, is what if Hope Van Dyne had been an agent of Shield, because then that kind of shoves everything into motion, right? I mean, if Hope had been a agent of Shield, she would have died on this mission, and it would have broken Hank, and then he would have destroyed the Avengers to get revenge on Nick Fury.
Yeah, I guess.
There's your quotey fingers, big quotey fingers Nexus event.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely was she not already an agent of Shield? Is it not just that
Hope? I don't think so. Yeah.
Was she not? Okay.
Janet and Hank
they were
worked for Shield.
So I wonder what had to happen in order for her to work for Shield, because that would be the Nexus event.
True. I guess that's true. Yeah, we could take it one step further. But yeah, we'll never know in the context of this episode. And it's, it's not important that we know, but
it's not important at all. But it's like, who ate a peanut butter and jelly when they were supposed to have lamb and tuna fish that day?
Yeah. This was a good episode. Like I said, earlier, good episode, not great. I think that the episode that I'm really, really looking forward to at this point, just knowing kind of what's left based on, trailers that we've seen, is the Gamora in Thanos armor one. I think that's the one that I'm most excited about.
Same. I'm really looking forward to that one, especially because of the potential that it's tied to the T'Challa Star-Lord episode.
Yeah.
If it is. If it's not, I still think there's a lot of potential for that story to be really good, but I'm really excited about that. I think between that and the Spider-Man as Doctor Strange, just because I'm such a, we the Spider-Man trailer has come out, the teaser has come out, and I'm such a big Spider-Man fan anyway. I love Doctor Strange, so I think that I'm really looking forward to that one the most so far.
Yeah, and I guess too, the zombies looks cool, but I really don't know what to expect out of that one. That one could be good, could be bad.
Yeah, I'm very curious about just the rest of them. We're 3 in, we've got 7 more. I didn't know if I'd like this.
I think it's only 9.
No, it's 10.
Is it 10? Okay, I thought it was 9.
Visions is 9. Visions is 9.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm thinking of that.
Yeah. So 7 episodes left. Going into the season, I didn't know what to really expect, but good and okay episodes so far, and I've really enjoyed all 3 of them. So I think the strength of this episode was the whodunit aspect, along with the like you mentioned it, the scenes that were kind of recreated or seen from a different perspective from the movies. I think that was the bright spot of the episode for sure. And we'll see what comes to us next week, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, same.
All right. Any other notes you want to rip on, or?
That's all I've got, man. What you got? Anything else?
That'll do it. I think we got quite a bit in. So, all right. Well, folks, thanks for sticking with us to the end. If you did, as you know, if you want to support the podcast, you can do that by sharing us with your friends. Let everyone know what we're doing over here. If you want to talk to us on our social media accounts, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, they're all in the show notes. Just let us know what you thought of the episode and what you're looking forward to with What If moving forward. And until next time, folks, keep on keeping on.
Yeah. We will catch you later. We love you. Goodbye.